And when I first started writing, I absolutely did not think about melody. Now I know that melody reigns supreme. Hey everyone, welcome back to Music Theater Sound Lab, where we talk about all facets of writing and producing great theater music like a music producer. I'm Joanna Burns. I'm a composer, singer, songwriter, and sometime actor, full-time lover of celebrity impressions, wind chimes, and Claude Debussy. Today we're going to talk about what in the world makes a quote-unquote good melody that will stick in the minds and ears of your audience long after your song or show is over. What are some great theater melodies? At its core, melody is really only made up of two main components, rhythm and pitch. I've scoured the web, and some widely agreed upon characteristics of a good melody are that it will often span no more than an octave to an octave and a half in range. It'll have some repeating elements to create a sense of pattern and or inevitability. It'll have a discernible contour with a point of climax. It'll use a decent amount of stepwise motion, broken up by some leaps here and there. It'll be broken into 2 and 4 bar phrases like musical thoughts or sentences, and it'll be easily repeatable. Aside from these, I also live by the idea that it's super helpful to write from the melody outward so that I know that the melody is as strong as it can be and not just at the mercy of an ostinato that I happen to like. Ostinato as in repeating musical accompaniment. That and the space between the notes is just as important as the notes themselves. This idea is true for really all instruments, pitched or not, and as I think about it, all of life. It's the in-between. In a musical theater melody set to lyrics, though, there are also some additional story-based criterion that I personally always consider. Things like rate of speech that the character employs in the dialogue, the age of the character, the emotional state of the character. Now I want to talk about a couple of just quick examples of really unforgettable theater melodies. Some Enchanted Evening. Repeated phrase shape, ending on a different note every time to create a sense of build. 2 and 4 bar phrases that make it easily repeatable. Tender and sincere character moment supported by a tender and sincere melody. And these lyrics fit just so beautifully on here. They're just super, super singable. Summertime. So structurally, this has like an A, B, A, C contrasting musical phrase. Time and the living is easy. We've got a brilliant use of just a single octave. Summertime and the living is easy. We never hit below that note and never above this one. Fish are jumping and the cotton is high. Oh, your daddy's rich and your mom's good looking. So hush, little baby, don't you cry. Oh, absolutely gorgeous. Classic. I thought that I would demonstrate just a quick setting of lyrics generated by ChatGPT. So these are based on the general plot of the Netflix show Unstable, starring Rob Lowe and his son, John Owen Lowe. And this would be, in theory, sung by his son. Mind you, these lyrics are terrible. They are highly terrible. They are not good. But this is not about lyrics. This is about melody, and so we're rolling with it. Dramaturgically, he's about 28, according to the internet, so I'll figure that into the movement of my melody. And I'm going to decide that this piece is going to be more kind of modern-ish as opposed to golden agey in style. I'll write it in my key so that I can sing it. That's how I like to do it, at least at this stage of development. And I suppose that according to the lyrics, at least, this is sort of an I want kind of a moment. So that's what we'll do. So I'm going to start how I always like to start, which is just by dropping these lyrics into my notes tab, just separating the sections. I'm not going to set this whole thing today. I'm torn between two worlds, science and music, but I know I can't ignore this flute's magic. I want to play, to make the world sing, and to prove to my dad that both paths can bring. Don't you just feel like, Dad, both paths can bring? You're not listening to me. If I were working with somebody else on this, we could just look at these 2 chunks of lyrics. Again, this is not about lyrics, just about melody, but all of the lyrical phrases seem to be pretty similar in length. They're kind of blocks of text. So even just looking at it like that, I might ask my collaborator, could we vary these lengths if the lyrics came first like they did here? Because otherwise, our musical phrases are going to have really similar lengths. So let's say I can't change this. Let's say this is it, because it is. I'm going to see how I can vary the lengths of the phrases musically in order to deliver enough contrast between the sections. Okay, I have an idea here. Let's try this. We might crash and burn. That's the joy. I'm torn between 2 worlds, science and music, but I know I can't ignore. What I will say is that the way that these lyrics are structured doesn't allow for a lot of space. So I'm doing some work to find space. Where can there be space where there seems to be none? Am I going to modify these lyrics? Maybe. Maybe we're due for a chromatic note, as in a note that steps outside of this key that we're living in. But I know science and music, Maybe I'll take the science and music and really create a larger theme around it. This is his defying gravity. Let's record my thought so far. Put on a click. Tempo doesn't matter. We can always change it. I'm torn between 2 worlds, science and music, but I know I can't ignore. There's a little bit of a something going on. I can see some logic in logic. This ending's going to be tough because this doesn't make sense. If I were working on this with a collaborator, I would say, this doesn't make sense. And they'd say, yes, I see what you mean. And we would come up with something else, but here we're going to set this just as is, and we're going to enjoy that. I made a little hiccup in there. That's okay. We're just going to erase it. That's the beauty of MIDI. Hi, you don't belong there. Get out. Also, I'm going to join this as a region by hitting J so that I can see it all in one shot. There is my melody. I wasn't going to do this, but I want to add a little bit of accompaniment to this. So I think I'm actually going to pop this melody onto a separate track. I'm going to create a software instrument. I'm going to pop this onto a track. We'll call this melody. And apply an alchemy sound. Logic comes with alchemy. I'm going to look for a lead. '70s analog synth lead. I think that's my go-to if I recall. Okay, so I'm going to drag this onto here and then just say that my melody is going to happen there. My nice hideous sound will carry my melody. Harmonizing was not part of this, but I'm just having some fun now. I had some kind of piano thing going on in my head. Aside from the hideous mess that is, I want to find a new chord. Again, this is not about harmonizing, but I'm just going here. I want to find a new chord. I think I found it. In a perfect world, if the lyrics were not these, maybe his rate of speech might not quite feel like this. So I'm going to increase the tempo to see if we can hit a little bit more energy to connect with his age a bit more. I'm torn between 2 worlds, science and music, but I know I can't ignore this flute's magic. I want to play to make the world sing and prove to my dad that both paths can bring. Oh, we can bring. Can we bring? Eventually it would be like, both paths can bring, or both paths can bring. Fascinating. Anyway, that's one way that I might do it. You know, when I first started writing, I absolutely did not think about melody. I personally love harmony, and I've always been seduced by its allure. But after years of writing and listening, now I know that melody reigns supreme. It's what makes a song important and memorable. It makes the song worth singing, with or without instruments, to me. I now bow down to melody. I treasure it, and I treasure its power. So I'll leave it up to you. Did I hit those targets? Was this melody good? Also, if you want to dig deeper into your journey of melody writing, I made a downloadable PDF checklist of all the things I just talked about in this video. It's my M, the Memorable Musical Melody Checklist, and it's available at musictheatersoundlab.com/melody. I'll leave a link in the description. I'll also leave another verse from these AI-generated lyrics that I didn't get to. So if you want to take a stab at setting those to a melody, actually, I would love that. Please send them to me. Anyway, I hope that any of that could be helpful to you. And if you're not already part of the tribe, hit that subscribe button for more insights into the intersection of musical theater, music production, and songwriting. Now go make some incredible melodies. I will see you next time.